Hey there, my name is Barry Russo, and I'm the director of music at St. Peter's Church in Rome, New York. You always have to make sure you get the New York in there because if you don't, inevitably someone will think you're talking about somewhere else, and it's really funny to watch their face. They're like, "You're the music director at St. Peter's in Rome?" And then you kind of wait a second, and then you tell them it's New York, and they're just like, "Oh, okay." But anyhow, it is New York, and this video is primarily for the parishioners of St. Peter's. However, if you happen to stumble across here from somewhere else on the internet, we welcome you and hope you stick around and maybe get some takeaways from it. For the people of St. Peter's, if you've ever had a chance to talk to me, even just in passing, you know that I have a favorite question that I love to ask people. It goes something like this. Hey, do you want to join the choir? I mean, I don't ask it just like that because that would probably be kind of weird, but I managed to work it into the conversation somehow. And I came to St. Peter's in February of 2020, shortly before the whole world shut down. But I've been involved in music ministry for many years at different churches in various states. And I've come to notice a common thread to the answers that I get to that question. Before I get into that, let's talk about what we do at St. Peter's in our music ministry. At St. Peter's, we currently have an adult choir, which is pretty much year-round. They sing once a weekend, usually at the 10 a.m. Sunday Mass. Sometimes they'll sing at a different Mass if there's something special going on. And of course, they sing for holy days and special celebrations like that. They rehearse once a week. As of the time of making this video, the rehearsal is Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. in the church. You know, if you're seeing this video maybe a few months down the road, you might want to double check by seeing me, before or after a Mass, or emailing me. I'll leave my email below this video, or you can get my phone number by calling the parish office, or you can just check the bulletin just to make sure that the rehearsal time is still the same at that time. We also are trying to build a youth choir, which will be resuming in the fall when school begins. And we're looking for instrumentalists. It doesn't matter what instrument, whatever instrument you play. If you want to be a part of our liturgical ministry by playing for masses, we encourage you to contact us. Even if you haven't been playing your instrument for that long, I can come up with a part that you're comfortable with that allows you to participate. And then outside of our liturgical groups, we have something that we call Music Monday, and it occurs every other Monday, usually in the hall in the basement of the church, or sometimes on a nice evening. It might even be outside. And it's basically just an open jam session for anyone who plays an instrument, no matter what level you're at. Just come, get together, play some songs, and just have a good time. It's for fellowship and friendship. So in our music ministry at St. Peter's, the key word there is ministry, right? When you play an instrument or sing at Mass, you're providing a ministry for the people who are at that liturgy. It helps to enhance their experience of the liturgy. It helps them to pray, meditate, and participate because, the old saying goes, when you sing, you pray twice, right? So it's an important ministry for the people who you play or sing for. But it's also an important ministry for the people who participate in the music groups, right? I've seen over the years people who have been in choirs for many years and music groups, they make lifelong friends. It's like a second family. So it's an important ministry, for the people who participate. Our goal with all of our musical groups at St. Peter's, and in particular our liturgical groups, is to obtain excellence and the best results possible with the people that we have participating. We realize that being a volunteer and open group that we have people of all levels, but we work towards the best results possible and try to foster individual and group growth and learning. We want it to be a fulfilling experience, an uplifting experience, and most of all, a joyful experience for all involved. Okay, so getting back to the question I ask people about whether they want to join the choir. The most common answer I usually get is, "Oh, I don't sing. Oh, you don't want to hear me sing," right? I understand every activity is not for everyone. I mean, in the 8th grade, I played basketball. Yeah, that lasted for a year, for a season, because I think I had 4 points in the entire season. Every time I got the ball, I used to just kind of pass it off, be like, "Here, you take it." You know what I mean? Now, if I, was really interested in pursuing basketball, I could have worked really hard at it and probably gotten better. Most likely would not have been, an NBA star or a college or even high school star, but, I could have gotten better at my skill. But for me, that wasn't, the direction I wanted to head in, right? But I realize every activity is not for everyone, but I think that sometimes people do tend to think of singing as an either or type of thing. They think that you're either born with it and have it or you don't. And we all know those singers, either, professional singers that you see on TV or in concert or something, or even people in the community that you hear them sing and you're like, "Oh, they must have come out of their mother's womb sounding like that, right? And in some cases, yeah, that's true. They've been singing from a very early age. But in other cases, you know, successful singers really had to work at their craft, right? So singing is a thing that can be developed, okay? How much it can be developed, I think, is different with every individual case. I'm sure natural tendency and ability has something to do with it. You know, at the same time, it also depends upon things like, you know, how deeply involved the person wants to get with it and pursue it, right? There's so many things that can be learned, you know, vocal technique, breathing, and how to, you know, manage the muscles that are active in the singing process. Also, you know, learning about music and music theory and reading music, right? All of those things can be developed. So it's definitely not an either or type of situation, right? And I think sometimes people think that. Another thing is that singing can be a very personal thing, and if you have a bad experience, you know, that can stick with you, right? Say you were a little kid, maybe like in the fourth grade or something, and you went to sing, and maybe your voice cracked a bit, and all the other kids laugh. Well, stuff like that people carry with them. You know, it gets into psychology here, right? Or maybe somewhere along the line, somebody said, "Oh, you can't sing," you know, and we tend to, you know, keep that stuff with us, right? Another thing I think that happens is that people think that if they join the choir, that they'll be the only one, you know, who's kind of in a situation of having not much experience or no experience. And I can assure you that that's not the case at St. Peter's, and probably in most, if not all, churches that have, you know, an open volunteer type of choir or group. You're going to find that there's all different ranges of levels, from people who have had a lot of singing experience and music experience, all the way down to people who, you know, have never had any experience and don't even read a note of music. Okay, and it's our job and our task. We put that all together to try to get the best results that we can. And like I say, to encourage those who are learning to continue to grow. Okay. The second answer that I usually get to that question is people will say, "Well, I don't have the time to make that commitment." Okay, now I understand the world is a lot busier place now than it used to be back in the olden days. I love saying that, the olden days, right? I mean, people are working longer hours, sometimes more than one job. You know, kids are involved in a million different activities and have to be shuttled to and from those activities. And just everybody's really busy, right? And, you know, we understand that. And the other thing is that the music ministry is a volunteer music ministry, right? It's open to all and it's volunteer. Now, obviously, in an ideal situation, we want people to come to rehearsal and, you know, to sing, you know, with the choir at Mass as often as possible, because that's how the group gets better and that's how, you know, we improve as individuals, right? However, we understand that, you know, everyone has a lot of stuff going on in their life, and if you can't be there sometimes, that's okay. Especially with the modern world of technology. You know, if let's say you have an interest in maybe joining the choir, but you know that definitely, you know, every other week you can't make rehearsal. So, you know, before you go ahead and just tell yourself that, you know, you can't join, come talk to me, because with the modern world of technology, you know, I can make supplementary material so that, you know, you can see what was worked on. Anything can be done. There's a big difference between a person who says they're going to do something but then just never shows up, and someone who is sincerely interested in doing something but they know they're really busy and they're not sure if they're going to have the time. You know, we can find a way to make it work. Okay, so just consider that before you just automatically declare that, you know, you don't have the time for it. So I hope this video has shed some light on what we do in our music ministry at St. Peter's. And if you've possibly ever considered, singing in the choir or playing an instrument, but for one reason or another you thought you couldn't do it, I hope this, helps you reconsider that sentiment with the information that I gave you today. So I realize I'm making this video in the middle of summer, so whether it's now or in the fall, we hope to see some new faces, and we hope that you'll join us as we continue to build our music ministry at St. Peter's in Rome, New York. Have a great day, everybody.